Hello guys and welcome back to Car Obsession. As you can see, I'm joined by Leo, my Mk2 SEAT Leon Cupra once more, because I've got a bit of maintenance work to do. Earlier this week I had him in at the garage where I work at to have some investigation work done. The door mirrors weren't working, just a quick one on that. The driver's side needs to be replaced and the airbag warning light had come back on. That's since been resolved. Now, whilst the car was in the garage, I had one of the guys do a quick health check and it turns out there is a problem with the offside, driver's side, Droplink. Now the Droplink, it has a rubber boot on each end, and if one of them were to split, that would be an MOT failure. Guess what? One of them has split and the MOT is next week. So I thought I'd better roll up my sleeves. Well, not literally, it's far too cold for that. Today it's about 0 degrees. And I thought I'd roll up my sleeves and do the work myself. Speaking of which, this is not strictly a how-to video, and my disclaimer is I'm not a trained mechanic. However, if you do happen to learn something new, then that is fantastic. Speaking of new, if you are new to my channel, be sure to subscribe, and if you like what you see, smash the like button. Also, I have a range of merchandise which I'm not wearing now because they're t-shirts and it's too cold for t-shirts right now. But if you do happen to take a gander at them, then head over to controlandshift.com. Anyway, that's enough plugging. Let's get working. So I finally got myself an impact wrench. I bought this from Halfords. This is made by Ryobi. This is a kind of budget impact wrench. So it's not going to be the same as same quality as something like a Snap-on or something like that. But it's the first time using it, so let's see how we get on. I can't remember how much I paid for this, but I will drop a subtitle below. It seems I had fallen at the first hurdle because the wheel was an absolute pig to get off. The alloy had pretty much seized its way onto the hub, and yes, it did take a lot of encouragement to break it free.
A few minutes later.
There we go, one wheel off. Right, tyre side down. Lord almighty, right. So as you can see, the wheel is finally off. It took a lot of persuasion, to say the least, to free it away from the hub that I've got there. So 2 bolts to undo, both of which are an 18mm. So there's one just here and one at the bottom there. Sorry, down here, sorry. I will of course show you what I'm working with so you can see. Some of the camera angles may not be the best, so for that I apologise in advance. Right, WD-40 time. Right. So time to remove the bottom one. Obviously I'm not going to be able to get the impact wrench in there. Well, I suppose I could if I... No. Okay, right, so let's get an 18mm spanner. I almost said wrench. My mechanism coming up there. Right, I think I'm going to need a 5mm hex as well. Can't quite get enough leverage. Right, let's move this camera out the way for the time being, particularly as I'm pretty sure you can't see anything I'm doing on it anyway. Right. See, this is one of the disadvantages of doing it on the floor. I haven't got quite as much movement as I'd like. The top nuts may have been a doddle, but the bottom nut was a lot more stubborn. There's a good chance it hasn't been disturbed in many years. It may have never been disturbed since the car left the production line, in fact. So, I'm slipping the attempting to slip a 5mm Allen key into the thread, therefore that will counteract it spinning, and that is easier said than done, particularly when you're having to do it by touch. Now obviously if I were working on a ramp like I would be usually, this would be easier. Right. Right, by Joe, I think I've got it. More fiddly than I had anticipated, but the main thing is I kept my cool. I've not actually sworn once. I haven't thrown my toys out the pram, and it's all good. Yes, a much more competent mechanic would have had the job done by now. They would have their feet up with a cup of tea. But I'm a DIY. I'm a DIYer. Yeah, boy. Come to daddy. Come to papa. Right, so after a lot of faffing and patience, I've been able to get the 5mm Allen key into the thread to counteract it. So when I'm undoing the nut, the thread isn't spinning with it. So just got to be careful because the end of the spanner is getting very close to my camera, and I have already knocked it a few times. And this camera is virtually brand new as well, so yes, I do need to be very careful. Hey, there we go. Right. One drop link removed. Right, road test. I'm kidding, that would be stupid. That's the bottom end, the one that's awkward to get out. And that's what I was putting the hex key into, as you can see there. That one's nice, that's maintained its integrity, whereas the top one, as you may see, it's all rounded out. It's nasty, but the top one has still got its shape. Speaking of the top, I don't know exactly where the split is. I think it's just, the whole thing's just disintegrated really. But if hopefully you can see, the grease is coming out. And therefore over time, that ball joint in there would dry up, and that'd be no good. So that's why it's being replaced. So that is the split, just there. Trying to get it on camera as best I can. So yes, that part is now fit for the bin. That's no good for anyone. Right, time to fit the new part, which is right here. So shiny, shiny, shiny. Yes, nice, shiny. Oh, let's get this fitted. Right, so fitting the new part is the well, the same process but in reverse. So the new Droplink has come with new nuts, one of which I've just dropped. Right, so make sure this goes on the right way. That's just like that. It's like that, and that's the way it is. Right, okay, let's feed it up through there. Get that one in like there. That one in like so. Now that's interesting. It almost seems, this new one almost seems too long, believe it or not. Can't get it to marry up. Yes, there was a very good reason why I couldn't get the new Droplink to go in. Now, the near side of the vehicle was still on the ground. I hadn't jacked it up because I didn't realise that I needed to. Therefore, there was still tension on the anti-roll bar. Once I did jack up the near side, the new Droplink went in straight away. Now, to be pedantic, there is a torque setting for the nuts for the Droplink, and that is 60. That's 60 Newton meters. Now, I do have a torque wrench, but it would have been a bit too fiddly to get into those spaces. Therefore, if I'm honest, I just made sure I did the nuts up as tight as I could. Brake cleaner. Not coming out pretty fast. There we are. Probably not the most conventional way of doing it. Now when it comes to wheels, you definitely want to make sure these are torqued correctly, which I did at 120 Newton meters. So there we have it guys, the job is now done. I must admit, I'm glad it is done because my hands and my feet are frozen. I can barely feel my feet, but the job was well worth it. It adds, just helps me to add to my mechanical portfolio, if that's what you want to call it, my mechanical experience. So first time I've ever done a Droplink replacement. I know it's not the most difficult job in the world, but it did take me a little bit longer than I would have anticipated because certain bits were a bit fiddly and my hands were pretty cold, so I couldn't really feel what I was doing. Anyway, that aside, I'm desperate for a cup of tea. So with that in mind, time for me to finish. Thank you for watching guys, I do hope you have enjoyed it. If so, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession. Oh my word, that wind is biting.